Hey everybody, welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. We have arrived, kind of. We're at the Edelwyn Bridge.
Alright then.
And I'm not exactly sure if this is safe or... Oh, look, we've got more possible memories here. It turns out that these don't actually mean anything to the game, but I will review them when we run in anyways, and we'll probably just go through these really quickly. See a lavishly decorated room, walls hung with tapestries. Though they each seem to be comfortable with each other's company, a strange nervousness surrounds the blonde woman's actions. The woman leans back a little in her chair, stretching lightly. She giggles and pulls her hand out from under the others and brings it to her mouth, the red of her face deepening. Interesting. Then she gently kisses the other woman's cheek and stands again, the smile never leaving her mouth. So like, these are written by, I think these are written by backers, actually. See a ship being tossed about in a storm-ravaged sea. He instructs the helmsman to resume his duties at the wheel and rushes to the aid of the crewman. After the swell passes and the ship returns to a relatively normal orientation, the man quickly scans the deck, counting silently.
I'll take a look.
Since they don't really add a lot, I'm not as inclined to spend as much time checking them out. See a flurry of matted white hair and an incandescent freeze-fire staff before you see the man. A roar blisters his throat, and he launches himself into their midst. Silence takes hold as the tattered man gathers his prize, a basket of fresh pears. He hums as he eats.
And what does the flavor...
Guess there's no sense that we're just, like, sneaking around here. Welcome to Defiance Bay. Hello, everybody. Let's get in there. Looks like Copper Lane is the only place we can go.
Defiance Bay. The
Oh,
city
cool.
at the heart of the Deerwoods Revolution now seems on the brink of another. Refugees line the streets, homeless and hungry, displaced by Whitewind's legacy, hoping for relief within the city walls, and finding none. Dissidents congregate to protest and to heckle, calling for an end to animancy and the ouster of their duke. The city's militiamen cast fearful looks as they patrol the streets, their hands trembling at the hilts of their weapons. The capital of a country that had not long ago incinerated a god now appears to be a spark away from sharing the deity's fate.
So said we completed Act 1. That's crazy. Coming a long way. Act 2.
Nice and quiet.
Here we go. What do we have here? Ripple Sponge.
The City of Defiance. Crown jewel of the Deerwood. If you ask the locals, anyway.
I'm looking for the Temple of Wodika. If you say so, it's in the First Fires, just west of Crucible Keep. Okay. I've asked around and learned the temple can be found in the district called First Fires. Okay, so it's just to the west of here. Oh, look at this. Goose and Fox, Marketplace, Expedition Hall, Pernisk's house, World Map, Lamdala's house, Scrivener's dormitory, First Fires, the Hall of Revealed Mysteries, Catacombs, and Brackenberry. Okay. What? Who's protesting what where? Rowan's arms are crossed and his mouth is set in a grim frown as he watches the gathered protesters. Sizes you up. New in town, eh? You've picked an interesting time to visit Defiance Bay. All these refugees fleeing the frontier and finding the legacies no better here. It's the Animancers, Maegr and Scorch'em, and they nest in the city like rats. You mark my words, though, us dozens are gonna put a stop to us. What do you mean, the dozens? We're an organization of interested citizens who want to free Defiance Bay from the dangerous influence of Animancers and the tyranny of the aristocrats who support them. We also consider ourselves a militia of sorts, seeing as the Crucible Knights are little more than a flock of preening nobles in training these days. Just like a militia, the dozens. Except for the training and the discipline and the code of honor. And we're always looking to expand. The more people see things our way, the better for the state of the country. You have any interest in hearing more? Stop by Admeth's Den sometime, the Expedition Hall. A lot of free thinkers in there, can set straight all the nonsense the nobles and the Animancers want you to believe. Might even be some paid work there for the motivated types. And what are you doing out here then? We're trying to get folk to see reason. We're in the midst of a crisis, and instead of purging the nefarious forces from our city, the Duke is granting animancers dangerous liberties. Okay. And why the animancy? It's a study and manipulation of essence, which any sane person will tell you is the purview of the gods. The Adirians, at least, had the sense to outlaw it, which is the only good thing you can say about them. It's not like magic, chanting, or the soul readings those ciphers do. It's been around since ancient Engwithan times, which is why you'll see animancers tinkering with old Engwithan artifacts. Kinda says half-truths all, but he's an enthusiastic performer, I'll give him that. Trouble is, the animancers got no idea what half of those artifacts actually do, not that they'll admit it. Our empathetic friend is correct about one thing at least. And what about Defiance Bay? Tell me about this place. This is the capital of the Free Palatinate of the Deerwood. We started out as the capital of the Deeran colony, but we booted the Flaccid Scepter from these lands 150 years ago. These days, we're a major port receiving trade and visitors from all over the world, but we, well some of us anyway, strive to hold on to the pioneering spirit that earned us our freedom a century and a half ago. The city is divided into 5 districts: Copper Lane, First Fires, Andra's Gift, Brackenberry, and Heritage Hill. Okay, Copper Lane is here? Yeah, this here is Copper Lane. It's primarily a market district, but you've got the Expedition Hall directly north of here, where you can join treks into the wilds. That's also where my fellow dozens martyrs and I tend to meet up with other concerned citizens. And that's the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Eerie place if you ask me, but they got the biggest library in the Deerwood. Eerie indeed. It might be less so if the Kith stepped aside. Perhaps we ought to visit Gloom just to see what mysteries are revealed. Okay, and what about Brackenberry? The nobility that didn't sail back to the Adir stayed there. Most of the families there traced their lineage back to old imperial times. Other than that, a lot has been nobility. You've got Hadret House, where Lady Webb and her spies operate, and Brackenberry Sanitarium, the main cesspit of animancy in the city. Okay. And what about the First Fires? That's where the revolution started, hence the name. These days it's overrun with politicians and panderers, but we'll take it back someday. That's where you'll find the Ducal Palace, the Valian Embassy, and Crucible Keep. Crucible Knights were the original freedom fighters in Defiance Bay, but now they're just strutting peacocks with their eyes on fancy titles and their heads up their asses. There's an old temple of Wodica there too. We keep it real nice for her. He winks. And what about Andra's Gift? Got the name because it was a wetland that was drained back in the Imperial days. Now it's a seedy district populated by sailors, common folk, and more than a few thugs, but it's a fun place too, if you know where to look. Look for a place called the Salty Mast when you're there. Other than that, it's mostly warehouses and abandoned homes. Okay, and Heritage Hill? Shivers. It used to be one of those more prestigious districts in the city. Heroes of the Revolution claim plots up there next to an ancient Engwithan tower in the city cemetery. Had the best views in Defiance Bay. Attracts richer types these days. A lot of animancy patrons. You wouldn't have heard, but something happened over there a couple months ago. The authorities sealed it off and they're keeping their mouths shut, but mark my words, animancy's to blame. Okay. Well, farewell. He provided actually quite a bit of info.
Feels like I've been tossed around in a snowstorm.
Everyone's tired. She's got a little bit of fatigue going on. What's really cool about her, if we take a look, her perception is very high, which is quite good. Gloom's perception is only at 12, but we've got the really high intellect now. We've got really high perception. We've got really high resolve. We've got Aloth, who's kind of balanced. Intellect with Kanna, and might and constitution with Edir. So I think Sagani is probably going to be with us for quite a while based on her perception stats. Could really help us in the long run. The Goose and Fox. Sounds like a rather interesting name for a bar, I'm assuming. Sounds Irish. Yeah, it definitely is a bar. Find all sorts here. Everyone's a philosopher. Yep. Bishop?
Good day to you.
The man behind the bar is nearly the size of an Aomawa. A handle protrudes from his back, and his face is set in a stoic frown. He gives you a small nod. Here for a drink? Yeah, can you just tell me about this place, actually? It's pretty lively. It was found in the early days of the Deerwooden independence by a traveling scholar named Errol of Levi. He wanted a place where kith of all backgrounds could gather and hash out the issues facing their new country. It didn't take long for the place to fill up. Brackenbury aristocrats argued that dock workers from the gift argued with dock workers from the gift, while soldiers wrangled with politicians. Deerwoodens have never been known to turn down an argument. What happened next? Soon, kith were coming from the farms and settlements too. This place got even more popular with the Valian soldiers, or sailors, than the Salty Mast, and that was the problem. No matter what people say about fair-mindedness and civil debate, there's only so much people will tolerate. Errol found himself on the wrong side of an argument with the wrong Thane, and when he disappeared a few days later, some said it was the work of that Thane. But Errol knew which way the wind was blowing. If you ask me, he skipped town, hid out somewhere, hoping for rational minds to prevail in Defiance Bay. If only he could see it now. What about you, Bishop? Name's Bishop. Used to be a scholar of Barath. Now I run the Goose and Fox and keep the regulars in line. What more is there to tell? Well, how'd you go from religion to taverns? The journey isn't as long as you think. It started with Hollowborn, and with this. Takes a black bottle from under the bar and fills a pewter cup. It was my sister's son. At the beginning of Waidwen's legacy, he was one of the first. I never expected there would be so many after him. Tragedy is part of the cycle, but it's followed by rebirth. Yet every year, more parents were grieving for their Hollowborn children, and the gods were silent. So you lost your faith. Barath promises rebirth, cycles, but the only cycle I found was this one, taps the bar. Have a drink, have another, and another until I couldn't remember how I got home. Wake up, come back. I finally woke up one day to see my family had packed up and left. For all I know, they'd left days before and I just hadn't noticed, but they were gone, so I came here. I've cleaned up since then, now that I've found my answers. I've just stopped asking questions. Okay. What kind of refreshments do you have? He's got camping supplies. We'll take a couple of those. And what do we have to sell him? We have a bunch of stuff. We could sell Aeloth's armor, I guess. And you know what? Let's rest here. I don't know that we need to really spend anything. Mind you, we have the money. Perception and resolve wouldn't be bad. Dexterity and stealth, they're all pretty good. Let's grab perception and resolve. Actually, you know what? No, let's grab mechanics, because that's the one thing that slight level boost could really help us. The dragon is outlined in charcoal pencil. Now, we don't know, like, nobody seems to be around here. So if we wanted to open this, would that be terrible? Bartender's ring. Preservation, plus 20 defense while stunned, plus 20 defense while prone. That's actually pretty good. Let's give that to Eder. Hopefully he doesn't notice that we're wearing it. We don't need to take his milk. A dwarf and an Orlan debate philosophy on the other side of the curtain. Right, that's not what I was expecting. Kenra, a woman sits by herself, spinning something on the table in front of her and watching it with furious intensity. It's about the size of a coin, and it wobbles over a crack in the wood with a metallic rattle. This is not a good time. It does look like he could use another drink. I'll get there, just trying to calm down. I'm trying to talk myself out of something foolish. Something foolish. She says nothing for a few moments, as if hoping you'll leave. At last, Kenra looks up at you, lamplight falls across her face. A purpling bruise is blossoming along her cheekbone. There's something I need to give my fiance, Pernisk. Oh, we saw a Pernisk house in the map. Only he doesn't want to, or doesn't seem to go anywhere without his new friends, and they're not exactly pleasant company. Interesting. Tell me about these new friends. They come into our house with their dead eyes and their black teeth. I'm not a fool, I know what it means. Pernisk makes me leave when they show up, but it's obvious what they come to do. Last time they came, I told them to get out. Let them have their fun somewhere in the gift, but not under my roof. She touches her bruise. Sfef changes you, I guess. The Pernisk I knew wouldn't have squashed a spider. I never thought he'd... This must be drugs. I thought Sfef made people lay around not doing much. I don't really know. Seemed better than believing he's always been this way. Maybe I could go talk to him for you. There's nothing more to say to him. We're finished. I just want to give this back to him and have a clean break. She opens her hand and a ring clatters onto the table. It was his grandmother's. Even after this, I don't have the heart to sell it off. But if I go back there myself, I know what'll happen. I'll lose my temper and I'll probably wind up with another one of these. Points to her bruise. I wouldn't normally hand this off to a stranger, but people say you've got a good heart. If you give this back to him, he'll know we're done. Yeah, we could take it to him. The house is just north of here, but just please don't hurt him. As furious as I am, I don't want that on my conscience. Okay, well that seems doable. Got a little case of the women beating.
Nice and quiet.
Okay, Two-Tone Weaksel, Key, Ilfa, Dreadshot Dayton, and Hurdy.
Hello.
Two-Tone Weaksel, an Orland man, relaxes with his feet propped on the table. You look like you've seen a night or two in the wilds, joining us for a drink. Who are you guys, traveling together? The name's Two-Tone Weaksel. The lady next to me is Key. We've had our fun with the expeditions, but we were hoping to enjoy a little peace and quiet for the next few weeks anyway. I'm Dreadshot Dayton. This is Hurdy and Ilfa. We were part of separate expedition teams, but we both suffered losses and decided to band together. Beasts, barbarians, Beowicks. It's a dangerous time to be an adventurer, but a prosperous one too. And here's to many more prosperous journeys. There's something else you wanted? No, that's okay. Interesting. Might as well grab the lockpicks.
Light, flame, and sound. Keep to ourselves.
What do we have here? The most unfortunate tale of Favia and Burnett, a Valiant tragedy. Yeah, this is like a full-on play. Crazy. Oops. Okay, so the inn, I don't know what's going on with these guys. Perhaps they'll come into play at another point, but they seem to be kind of just like us, like another party on some type of adventure. So let's go to, let's refresh. What's his name? Pernisk. We'll go to his house, located next to the marketplace in Copper Lane. Okay, so from here, yeah, Pernisk is just to the north.
Let's see what lies this way.
Looks like Edir wants to talk.
The dozens. Pretty sure you won't find one among them who stood within 100 miles of that bridge when the Godhammer went off. Too bad, too. Then there'd be less of them.
Why do they call themselves the Dozens? Was 12 Deerwoodens stood outside Halget Citadel waiting for Wedwin to cross the bridge there. They had to hold him there long enough for the Godhammer to detonate, so that's what they did. It's a Godhammer. That's what they called the bomb they blew up Wedwin with. Don't know much about it other than that. Anything kills a living god, guess you gotta name it. What do you have against the dozens, exactly? Nothing serious. Nothing I don't have against a lot of folks, anyway. The dozens, they like to take things in their own hands. Gets ugly sometimes. We don't have them in the Gilded Vale, but they'd be right at home there. They picked that name so they could do what they wanted and feel like it was right. Got nothing to do with honor or sacrifice. They like to invoke Magrin, too, when they especially want to feel right. Somehow, I don't think she'd be too impressed with that lot. I'm sure she'd like to set them on fire and any time they use her name, but the gods probably got rules against that kind of thing. Yeah, people do tend to hide behind symbols so they can't be questioned. The Duke's a reasonable man. Maybe when we're in Defiance Bay, we can get him to force people to call themselves what they are. Don't imagine they'd have as many members if they called themselves the loudmouth sheepfuckers. Let's continue on. Good idea. Okay. So this must be his house, yep. We've got another rope and grappling hook. We have a couple of those now. Interesting. All these attics in here. This is Sfef. Look at this. Plus will, -2 focus, -2 perception, -4 resolve. Interesting. We better be careful in here. There's Pernisk. Mercenary. You can turn right back around. The lower floor is all yours, but nobody goes upstairs. Okay. Why not? Because you'll be breathing down new holes in your neck if you head up there, that's why. Just mind your own business. Once you're on this Sfef, you're not going to care much where you are anyways. We could try to bribe him. Let's just hold off on that. Let's try and talk to Pernisk here and see.
Hail and well met.
Well now, a new face. Welcome, friend. Name's Pernisk, and this is my humble abode and place of business. And I do hope you're here to do some business. Seems like a lot of guards for one man. You must be pretty popular. Sure, right, yeah, very perceptive. This business attracts some less pleasant types. Sometimes the clientele get a little pushy, and every so often someone even turns out to be snooping into things they shouldn't, and lessons have to be taught. I'm sure you're too smart to get wrapped up in all of that, of course. I keep it simple. If you have the coin, I have the Sfef. You're free to make use of the premises, so long as you don't do anything stupid, and you don't get to tangling with the other customers. Now, what can I get you? What is Sfef exactly? You serious? Sfef's worth every pound, my friend. It's incredible. Lets you see your own soul, and you're looking at Defiance Bay's first and foremost Sfef merchant. Okay, can I see what you have in stock? Just Sfef. Okay. Not sure we're going to be purchasing any. Uncover what happened at Pernisk's house in Copper Lane. The house next to Copper Lane Market has become a Sfef den. Pernisk was home, but something about the man seemed unusual. I'm tempted to try and get upstairs. Let's grab...
Margarin's fire casts light in dark places.
I'm gonna wait till we're hidden here. So clubs and warbows. That was a bit dirty. We don't have to give him the ring just yet. Let's ask him why again. We could try to bribe him. I do like the view over this way, he says. Interesting. That was easy enough. Alright. We might have to... Oh, son of a bitch. This is gonna be messy. Wow. Okay. Didn't even see that coming. We should have been sneaking around a little bit carefully. Let's go ahead and try to grab this mercenary in the back. Let's see what she has. So, once per encounter, marked prey, single target, giving the ranger and animal companion a damage bonus. Let's go ahead and do that on this mercenary. Let's go ahead and drop this one.
Hi?
Drop the book here. Kana, you just do your thing. And we'll try and knock this one down. Whoa, that was... I don't know how that just happened. Did we not take control of one? I thought we did. Let's go ahead and grab this one.
What?
Now we gotta kill this mercenary.
Leave it to me!
As long as they don't come up from downstairs, we're good. Holy moly. Fine greatsword. Hello. Fine flail. Fine spear. Stiletto. Small shield. And what is this? Rusty bronze key. Oh, that'll come in handy, I'm sure. Appears as though someone rummaged through the uneven row of books in a hurry. Oh, other people have been looking. Or he has. Jars are chipped and cracked as if knocked to the ground. Chipped and cracked as if knocked to the ground and set back in place. Who else has been rummaging? Adiran dialects? Alduin is pronounced Alduin. Okay, good to know. Dernisk is pronounced Dernish. Way off. Kind of like Kolsk, so SC is like a sh. Yester. Sledge. Pronounced Thirsch. Uskrim is like Ushgrim. And not Uskrim. Ingmar is pronounced Ingmar. Yeah, okay, good. I got that one. What do we got here? Minor endurance and silver loose. Most common Valiant coin found in the Deerwood is a silver loose, so named for its resemblance to the scales of fish. Alright, we can unlock this door. We could probably have picked the lock, but... Whoa, why is he up here? Oh. How did... Okay, what? A man lies bound and bloodied on the floor before you. His face is a tapestry of bruises and blood is spattered across several corners of the room. The man cringes and sobs as you approach. Gods, please, no more. I can't take any more. I'm not here to hurt you. You're not? Oh, praise Barath, you're not one of his men, are you? Please, I don't know who you are. My name is Pernis. This is my house. You have to help me. Then who the hell was downstairs? That's an imposter, some wizard named Nereid. He came into my house, tied me up in here, tortured me, and now he and his men are eating my food, breaking my things, selling sfeff inside my own house. What? Is there anything that you're hiding? It'd be a lot easier if you weren't trying to hide anything from me. You figured me out even faster than my supplier. I may have hung onto a tiny portion of his share, but I needed that money. So just tell us what exactly happened. He sent over the wizard Nereid, the man downstairs, to make up for the lost copper, I guess, and to hurt me while he was at it. Feels like it's been days. Huh. Can we get you free here? Let's ask what you need me to, what do you need me to do? I can't go out there, not while he's downstairs. I've been tied up for the gods knows how long. Please, you have to kill him. Maybe I can convince him to leave? You don't know him. You don't know what he's capable of. You'll see soon enough. His old self. So, a wizard named Nereid has been impersonating Pernisk. I found the real Pernisk upstairs, and it's time to confront Nereid with the truth. I met Cainra Pernisk at the Goose and Fox. She didn't seem to know that the real Pernisk is a prisoner in his own home, which explains why he's not acting the way that she's used to. So, I don't know if we're going to have to kill him. I'd prefer to deal with him in a different way if at all possible, but yeah, we'll figure this out when we come back. Thanks, guys, for watching. A little bit of a cliffhanger here, but we'll solve this problem as soon as we get back. So, thank you. Take care. Goodbye.